Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District, a DC sportscast. Bringing you the best from DC sports and also some great content here on YouTube. Today, it's another one in our series of Start, Bench, Cut. Of course, we love to hear your feelings about this topic. So get in the comments and let us know who you are going to be starting, benching, and cutting. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We stream live every Wednesday at 7:30, talking about the Washington Commanders and other DC sports. Again, that's 7:30 Wednesday. All right, guys, it is our start bench cut on some QBs. And last time, things got pretty heated on the wide receiver talk. And now we're bringing the QBs. I'm going to start this one with Stoner, who needs to get back in the good graces of our Commanders fans after cutting Terry McLaurin. So you wanted a little bit of a softball.
Yeah.
I said, no. We got to do something a little bit harder. So our start bench cut for QBs here, it's going to be none other than Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, and Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Stoner, who are you starting?
Who am I starting of these three?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Do I have to start somebody, or can I trade them all for like the fifth round draft pick or something? I'd trade them all for a fifth rounder. All right, so I got to start somebody. Well, you're right. You didn't give me any leeway in terms of trying to get back in the good graces of people because they were not happy with my decision. So, unfortunately, you're probably not going to be happy with this one either. But if these are my two choices, I'm probably going to start Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the most accomplished of the three, I believe. He's definitely had the most wins out of the three, and some people don't attribute wins directly to quarterbacks. That's okay. He's the leader of the team. He's the best overall passer of these three, I do believe. And he's just he's the most accomplished. I hate giving it to a cowboy. I hate doing that. But these are my three choices. And Trev, I got to go with Dak Prescott as my starter for these three.
All right.
Trev, you mad at your boy?
No, I'm not mad. I mean, out of the choices that were given, you got to pick somebody, and the most accomplished is Dak Prescott in this case. So go ahead. I'll back you up, Stone. I'm with you on that.
You're with?
But
so
honestly, my real opinion would be to bench all of them. Like I wouldn't start any of them.
That's right.
Stoner wanted to trade them all. You want to bench them all.
Yeah. But no, for my starter, it would be Dak Prescott. Yeah. I mean, Kirk puts up good numbers. Carson has a Super Bowl, but he, whatever. We'll get to that. But Dak Prescott, out of these three, go ahead, start him at least. Why not? I mean, you're paying him $75 million. You might as well start him. You can't bench him.
You're definitely paying him quite a bit. It's that's interesting. We got the two starts already. So my process here when we picked the QBs was to get ones that were pretty close in QBR and other significant ratings to kind of really make this a bit of a decision based off on preference.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that both of you guys went with Dak Prescott. That's 3 for 3 though. It's Dak Prescott's, I think, to me, the clear starter on this one. Maybe didn't look nearly as good as last year as he had kind of pre-injury. At least he didn't look as dynamic and as certain. There was definitely some games where he struggled a little bit. But when you're bringing up, it's again, QBs aren't the sole reason for a record. But Kirk Cousins is right at 500, 59, 59, and 2. And Carson Wentz is above 500, but not by much, 44, 40, and 1. Dak Prescott, 53 and 32. So
that's
when he's playing
above.
When he's playing, his teams tend to be winning. Does have a good completion percentage, 66%. Right there with Kirk Cousins. Wentz is a bit of a drop down on that one. So, to me, Dak Prescott was actually, I was hoping Dallas was going to fumble away the signing of him. and maybe
Mhm.
Washington would have had a chance, even
Nah.
Oh, wow.
with the injury and everything, because I do believe he great find in the 4th round. Again, a confident leader, somebody who I think you can really build a franchise around. And unfortunately, Washington has to deal with that twice a year.
Yeah.
But he is the best. All right. Well, now that we're firm on the starter,
Yeah.
This is a good one.
now we got to get down to maybe there's some, underlying resentment with the
Mhm.
man in purple. Trev, who are you benching and who are you cutting? Because it's down to those two choices: who's staying on the
All right.
team and who's leaving.
You like that? I'm benching Carson Wentz and I'm cutting Kirk Cousins. And here is why. Here is why. Okay. Kirk puts up great numbers. He keeps you in the game for the most part. But at the end of the 4th quarter, what's he do? He throws that interception that loses the game for you. You know what I mean? The game's to the interception. Carson Wentz, kind of the same thing. Can manage the game for the most part, keep you in it. When it's time to make something happen, he turns the ball over or does something stupid with the ball, causing the team to lose. So they're kind of even on that. But here's where I bench Carson and Kirk and cut Kirk. Carson has mobility. Yes, he's injured a lot. He's played through a lot of injuries, tore his ACL, bad ankle, sometimes I think it was his chest or something. I don't know.
Back,
but he's still, back. He's still got mobility and he's still big and has a nice arm. So he gives you that. Kirk Cousins is kind of one-dimensional. Not very mobile. He's a pocket passer. He throws for a bunch of yards, a bunch of touchdowns, but never wins in prime time. Carson has one in prime time. And I just feel like Kirk just throws the ball away. And I think he has a little bit more bonehead mistakes than Carson. So I'm going to pick Carson as my bench and cut Kirk Cousins.
I think the numbers are probably against you on that in terms of Kirk Cousins and his turnovers. When he was in Washington early on, he was a turnover machine. But he got that out of his system or whatever. In the last few years, he has not thrown a lot of interceptions.
Two of the last 4 years, he was under 10 interceptions.
Okay, but the perception is that he can't come up big in big situations, and it's happened year after year after year. I especially remember that year when Washington finished 8-7-1.
Yeah,
all they had to do was beat the Giants in the last game of the year.
Yeah, and we threw a pick in the 4th quarter. Oh my God!
The Giants were already in the playoffs, so they had nothing to play for. Their position was already accounted for. Eli wasn't even supposed to play, but he did. And so they had nothing to play for. And Kirk threw 2, not 1, 2 4th quarter interceptions in that game. And that forever tainted Kirk Cousins for me personally.
Yeah.
And I'm a Kirk Cousins guy because
he went
to Michigan State, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. And I distinctly remember this. And Nathan, I hope you remember this too. Back in 2013, I don't remember if it was 2012 year or the 2013 year, and I was at a Redskins bar, because that's what it was called at the time, here in Baltimore, and I think you might have still been overseas at that time. And I remember texting him when Kirk Cousins was having a good game, and I said, there's a quarterback controversy in Washington.
I think it was actually the rookie season, because I remember laughing at you. It was the game that Kirk came in and called you insane because it was RG3 was having an amazing rookie year, and you did.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was like one of the games where it
was one he missed after the Baltimore game.
Yeah, after he got injured. Right.
There's going to be a problem here.
He was sporting the 12 too, I believe, wasn't he? Kirk was sporting the number 12.
Still early on.
Yeah. So I'm a Cousins guy. I've always kind of been a Cousins guy. So. And I had a hard time with the Cousins Prescott deal, but I'm going to, I said I was going to have Prescott as my starter. However, I'm going to have Kirk Cousins on the bench. I want him to back up Dak Prescott. And I'm sorry, Carson Wentz is going to get cut. And this is 2 weeks in a row that I've cut the starter for my beloved Commanders team, but I'm trying to think with my head instead of my heart.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I still love the deal that Washington made to bring
Yes.
Carson Wentz to this team, and I still
Yes.
believe in him.
Yeah, me
This
too.
particular situation with these three guys, I'm cutting Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins.
God bless
is on
your
my bench.
mentions, Stoner. God bless your mentions.
Well, I
Yeah, I
mean,
can't
I don't
wait.
think that's what that one is going to get as ridiculed as the Terry
No,
McLaurin.
cutting Terry. I mean, you had me getting. I mean, I nearly dropped this family-friendly
man was
show.
hot.
I nearly dropped several not family-friendly
Yeah,
words
yeah, you did.
on the wide
I
receiver
dropped
one.
a couple of them.
And I still believe that, by the way. I'm saying I still believe
Okay,
that.
well, let's not
Okay,
drag
well,
up old history
yeah.
because you will be booted again from this particular sports cast. All right, so we got a tie currently going. We got one starting or benching Cousins, one benching Wentz. So it's up to me to break the tie here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We know I like to dive a little bit into the stats. I brought them up beforehand. The one stat that benefits Stoner's take, and having Cousins up here, is if you believe in quarterback efficiency, the EPA stats, the completion percentage above expected, CPOE, and the EPA. Okay, yeah, all the fancy nerdy stuff,
fancy stats,
all the
Sniff
fancy
test.
nerdy stuff. I'll
Which
get
one
there, Stoner. I will get there. Okay, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott above, and Wentz are all above the line when it comes to that. So it means you're going to be getting. You should be getting, a little bit better quarterback play from them. Guess who was not above the line there? Just throwing it out there. Just,
Ryan
Taylor
Fitzpatrick.
Heineke.
Who?
Taylor Heineke was not above the line.
I don't even know who that is.
Carson Wentz, though, is far below the other two. So that particular one, give you an idea, Cousins ranked 14th, Prescott 13th. Wentz is all the way down in 20. That one was a little rough when I picked it because I went with QBR originally. Last year's QBR 54.7, 52.3, and 54.6. If you guys had a guess,
even, right?
Pretty even. But if you had a guess, where would you think that those players were?
I would say from high to low, I would say Prescott,
Dak,
Cousins,
Wentz. I say Dak, Wentz, Cousins.
It is, in fact, actually Carson Wentz with 54.7 as number one. Dak Prescott, 54.6 is number two. And Cousins is the one at 52.3. He's the worst of the three. If you look at QBR, depends on which one you're going with. I know some people, looking at it and everything. Not that Cousins had a bad year himself, 33-7. So if you're looking at pure just TD to interception ratio, he had more touchdowns than Carson Wentz. They both had the 7 interceptions. So a little bit leaning towards that. Completion percentage is definitely a big difference. Carson's
way down on that one.
So who are you picking?
62 compared to 66.
Who's he picking?
I don't know. All these damn stats. I'm like,
always. Yeah. I'm just making sure people know, like, when they're in the comments and they're in their feelings about stuff, just know, Trev.
Yeah, dog. I know you do it. Yeah.
Come on.
I am going to take the guy who I feel I can win games with. He might not be as pretty. He might not be as efficient.
Talk to him.
But he is somebody who I can trust to win games. And as Stoner, you brought up, you walked us down the aisle with that story of yours.
Yeah.
It's just Kirk Cousins, not the guy that's going to take you to the promised land. He's just not. And it's not. I don't have any resentment to him. I still have my you like that towel as well.
Oh yeah.
It's just not. He didn't work out here. He definitely left a bad taste in the mouth. But what it comes down to is, I'm not even sure. Even though they pay him guaranteed money, I just don't think they have a choice not to. In Minnesota. Yeah. He's had issues there. He's had diva receivers, but he's had stud receivers. And there's the game where it was just like GD, Kirk, when he missed that wide open throw. Like, they get mad at him because
he lines up under the wrong line.
Yeah, last year lining up under the guard.
Or remember the time in Washington before the half when he kneeled when they didn't have any
Yes.
timeouts, and he was all he was supposed to do was spike it.
He
and
needed a
kneeled,
spike,
no
and he went for
timeouts.
the kneel.
Oh man!
Yeah,
But I forgot I
There's-
had this prop. I should have held this up before.
yeah. You like
No,
that.
I
Saying
don't.
Cousins.
I don't.
The Carson Wentz is flawed. Okay,
Yeah.
we've talked quite
But-
extensively about him as after the trade. And this is weird because I was the guy who didn't even want to talk Carson Wentz, right? I didn't
Yeah,
want him
no.
coming to the Commanders. I've accepted that he is the Commanders QB, and I want him to be successful here. And again, I do think he can be. I think he has the skill set to be successful. Trev, you mentioned the mobility. Maybe not as
Yeah.
mobile before some of those injuries have stacked up, but he's not a statue like Kirk
Nah.
Cousins. Not statues, you really don't necessarily need the running game, but at least the threat of a QB moving out of the pocket
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
to extend plays. And that's
Yeah.
something that Carson can give you, those big wow plays. He might make some
Mhm.
bonehead plays. I know people love replaying the Indianapolis shovel pass.
The
Interception.
left-handed.
Yeah. So you're going to get those, but Kirk Cousins provides those as well, where you just like you mentioned, Trev, the lining up under the guard. You're going to get those with either. So give me the guy who's shown that he can win with a team.
And also, Carson Wentz was a top vote getter and MVP before he tore his ACL. Didn't really hear that with Kirk Cousins, and I believe if he didn't tear it, of course he probably would have won MVP and he would have been the quarterback in the Super Bowl. But Kirk Cousins hasn't, you know what I mean? He hasn't had any of the
He hasn't
postseason
experience. That level.
Yeah, he hasn't reached
Yeah.
that level.
Yeah,
He's
you're
a
right.
good game manager until the fourth quarter when it's for nitty gritty.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm not as vociferous about my picks on this one as I was the other one. Vociferous means adamant.
Look this
more.
up. You can tell
Thank
he's
you.
reading off the screen there.
Um,
He's like, I need to find a $20 word so I can sound smart.
vociferous. But I'm not as adamant about this selection as I was the other one.
Right.
You can convince me to keep Carson Wentz on my bench and cut
Okay.
Kirk Cousins.
Do you think anyone in our comment section can convince you to start someone other than
Ooh.
Dak Prescott? Because
Of
we
these
went
three?
we
No.
went around the horn, and Dak Prescott was the clear leader with us.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely interested to see down in the comment
Yeah, me
section
too.
where they go with that. So
Mhm.
if you have an argument for somebody other than Dak Prescott starting, we want to hear it. Get it in that comment section. Let us know. Let us know who your start, bench, and cut. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm Nathan. That's Trevor. That's Stoner. We'll wrap the district. And until next time,
What?
be a fan.